go to S3, which is globally unique. Yeah, S3 buckets. Basically, S3 stands for Simple Storage Service. Okay, so it's yeah. One thing we need to know about S3 buckets is it has to be the name that you give your S3 bucket has to be globally unique name. Globally unique name. Okay. Yeah. It has to be unique globally. You can use like your company name here and this to make it unique. Okay. Origin. Yeah. And S3 permissions, we have 3 layers. We have IAM policies, okay, and we have bucket policy, and we have access control list. This we should avoid. So IAM plus bucket policy, okay, and block public access is on by default. Okay, let me show you first of all what we mean by this here. When we go to S3 now, okay, let's say this is the S3 bucket, right? I already showed you how to create an S3 bucket. You just leave this one and make sure you choose a globally unique name here, okay? Or if you have a settings, you can copy an existing settings from the existing bucket from here, okay? And here, SEL disabled. Basically, that means all objects in this bucket are owned by this account. Access to this bucket to its job is specified using only policies. Okay. Okay. So basically, for now, we should enable this one actually, so we can test it. But it's recommended to keep it like this to block public access to prevent users from accessing this account. Okay, and bucket versioning, we will talk about it. Just create a bucket here. Let's create demo S3 account. Demo S3 account. Create a bucket, and specified bucket name is already taken. Bucket name, yeah. So that's what happens because you have to choose a unique name actually. So I'm going to choose. Yeah, try to make it globally unique name. Okay, so this is how I created the bucket. This is my bucket, basically. Here I can just click on this bucket. Okay, if I want to upload files on this bucket itself, I can go ahead and upload any files here. Or if I want to create a folder inside it, I can also create a folder inside it. Like I can name it, let's say images here. Okay, and create a folder. This is a folder that I just created. Okay, so basically this is a folder that we just created. Okay, and next thing what we can do is go ahead, we can upload images here. If you want to upload image or file, any file you want, it doesn't have to be an image. You can choose anything. You can put any image file here. This is what we mean by yeah. So we can have any files here, and to access this one, we have to click the file and follow this link. Basically, yeah, we're getting access denied because we don't have permission actually to access this image. Okay, we don't have the permission to access this image, and I think the reason why we don't have this permission is actually because we didn't specify the. One second, we can go to the IAM role here. Okay, because I think I denied this permission to my user. I can go to admin account. This is my account, and let me check the policies that we have. I have full administrator access. Actually, I have full access. I have access, but no, I have full access actually. I have full access. Okay, I should be able to do it to access this one. Let me go ahead and check the yeah, let me go to my S3 bucket. Okay, to see why we were not able to access this one. Let me go to S3 here. This is the bucket, and we can go to the permission here. The bucket has a bucket owner. Okay, so this is why we can't access actually. You see here is mentioned, yeah, but here this is telling me this bucket has the bucket owner enforced setting applied for object ownership. When bucket owner enforce is applied, use bucket policies to control access. Okay, so in order to allow myself to access this, or to anyone to access this, I have to use bucket policy. Okay, bucket policy, because I have bucket owner enforced, this one. Okay, if I enabled ACL, I will enable it now and I will disable it. I will show you how we can fix this issue. So object ownership enforced means the reason is so let me go ahead and enable the ACL here. Okay, acknowledge ACL will be restored, and save this one, save changes. Okay, let's go ahead now, go to our account, the bucket here, click this one and click this one. You go to actions, see this one was grayed out before, right? Make public using ACL. So when I click this one now and I click make public and go to this URL and click save, refresh. Okay, let me go ahead and do that again. Okay, this is public. Okay, let me go to the account. Yeah, make public as well, this one, the image. Okay, so the image is public now. Okay, so now let me go ahead and copy this URL and just paste it here. And okay, this is very, where's the CL here? Let me just, yeah, you see we were able to access this one. This is the image that we were able to access. Basically, this is the URL that we can use to access the image. Okay, that's the idea. But yeah, this is a very important thing actually, we need to keep in mind. Okay, so we were able to do this because we just enabled ACL. Okay, but in case we want to do it, we want to work, let's say we don't want to do this. Okay, we don't want to go through this one, so let me go ahead and go to the buckets that I created earlier here. Test bucket, I am this one. Actually, if I go to image, for example, let me put another image here. This is another bucket. Okay, so on this bucket I'm just going to, on this bucket, okay, ACL is disabled, so this is going to be grayed out. So in order to fix this, I think we have to use something called password policy. Password policy is basically, let's say we can go to permissions here. This bucket policy is written in JSON, provide access to the object stored in the bucket, basically. Okay, so I can click edit here Okay, and I can add a new statement here, and this statement is going to be what service. I'm going to choose S3, of course, and I'm going to give it a permission to get object. So get object, just so that we can access we can see the images here, access level, and we have resources here. Add resources. We can choose an object here, then add the our ARN here. Like, we can just go to this one. You can copy this one actually. Yeah, this is the bucket ARN. You can copy this one, and you can add resources here. Go to resources, go to object, and paste this one. Okay, and you can put slash here and put asterisk, so that it will reflect on all. This is very important. Without this it won't work. Add resources. And one more thing we need to do, we go to principal here. We can specify to whom we want to apply this policy. I'm going to choose all. So let me do this one, and now save changes. So successfully edited bucket policy. So now let me go to the object image here. Now we should be able to see this one. Okay, let's go to the image. I was able to see, you see this one? I was able to see this image. Not still the this one is still grayed out. I'm not using the ACL. ACL is still disabled here. Okay, I did it using a bucket policy from here. Okay, to confirm that this is actually why this image is working. 1 second. We can do one thing. 1 second. Bucket, test by bucket here. Go to image, click this one, and just copy this one, and assign one Robert, and just paste it here. Okay, just so I can show you that we can do this one. You can go to the permissions here, for example. I will just remove this one or delete it completely. Okay, I'm going to delete this bucket policy so I can show you that it's not going to work now. If I delete this policy and try to refresh this one, I won't be able to see it at all. It's not even going to work. We're going to get access denied. Okay, that's the thing that we need to know about. It's very important that we need to know about S3. Okay, because whenever we create an account, we have to know the difference between ACL disabled and ACL enabled. If ACL is disabled, all objects in this bucket are owned by this account. Okay, access to this bucket and object is specified using only policies. That's it. Yeah, that means that to make public, you will not be able to make it public using that button in actions, right? Also, you see everything here is block all public access and block. Yeah, but if we choose ACL enabled, however, okay, if new object written to this bucket specify the bucket owner full control, can't otherwise. Yeah, so this is ACL enabled basically. If you click ACL enabled, you will be able to do that. Okay, so these are the two things that we need to know about buckets, S3 buckets and bucket policy. Okay, so now there is one more thing that we need to learn. This is bucket policy basically. This is what we did. And yeah, remember to add this one actually, slash asterisk. That means we're saying anything that's inside this folder basically. And this is get object means get full S3 bucket. This can be allow or deny. This one where you want it to apply. Versioning is basically keeps multiple version of an object, protects against accidental delete, overwrite. So the idea of versioning, let's go ahead and try versioning. Let's assume this account, for example. Okay, I have this account. I want to enable versioning in it. I'm just going to go to permissions or properties. No, the versioning. No, actually, 1 second. Where was it? Versioning. I want to try versioning, but this is bucket versioning. Okay, versioning is a means to keeping multiple variants of an object in the same bucket. You can use versioning to preserve, retrieve, and restore every version of every object. So let's go ahead and edit it, enable it, save changes. Okay, now I have enabled versioning on this account. Okay, so what I will do is I'm going to go ahead and upload a new file here, Python. It's the same file that's already uploaded. I'm going to upload it again. Close. Okay, you see this one? What I can do is, like, there is an option here, show versions. When you click it, it's going to show you both versions. This is the one that was before. Okay, this is the one that I just uploaded again now. So this is the idea of versioning. You have the old version to keep the track of the previous versions. Like, for example, I can just go to the previous version and download it. That's fine. Okay, I can. That's basically the purpose of versioning, and it gives you access to previous versions of the file folder basically. And that's one thing about versions, pretty straightforward, I don't think. And it must for production basically. And cross-region replication. Actually, before talking about cross-region replication, I think we should talk about Lifecycle, because this is this system, and static website, and then we'll talk about this too. So let's try Lifecycle or Glacier. Okay, let me see what we have here. For this, let's say I go to properties here. No, actually I go to management. Okay, for this bucket. Okay, what I will do is basically I'm going to create a lifecycle rule here. But before this, I want to show you we have to try to understand the theory first. When we talk about lifecycle configuration, what do we mean? Okay, there is no connection. 1 second. Well, let me pause the video because I think there is no connection. Okay, now I fixed the issue, so let's go ahead and try to refresh this one. Okay, we're going to create lifecycle rules. To create a lifecycle rule, we're going to call it just anything. Just for now, limit the scope of this rule using one. Okay, so just acknowledge. Okay, apply it to all objects here, and basically this is lifecycle rule. I'm going to choose this one for now. Transition current version of object between storage class. Okay, so this is what I wanted to show you. Okay, so we need to understand all these points, all these options. Let's start with the first one. Okay, standard IA. Basically, this is where let's say you have data in your storage, okay, in your bucket, okay, and you haven't accessed it since 30 days. Okay, so basically it doesn't have to be in your bucket. Since you haven't accessed for this for 30 days, what it will do, if you choose standard IA, it's going to transfer it to standard IA storage, which is infrequently accessed data, once a month with millisecond access, 30 days minimum storage duration. Okay, it doesn't have to be 30 days actually. You can do it like, let's say, you can specify here the number of days after object creation. I can say after 6 days, okay, this specific I didn't access the specific file for 60 days, then move it to standard IA. Why? Because it's cheaper. Actually, it's cheaper than keeping it in S3 bucket. That's why we need to move it to standard IA. IA means infrequent access. That's it. Now let's go to the next one, which is intelligent tiering. This is no minimum storage. Okay, this is, before going here, I think we should go with we should explain one zone IA. So the thing is, with standard IA, okay, you can do it in multiple availability zones, right? In one zone, it's just in one region basically. Recreatable infrequent access data, once a month with millisecond access, 30 days minimum storage duration basically. Okay, that means this only applies to this zone. That's it. This availability zone basically. This zone. Okay, so I can say here this is the same idea as standard IA, the same concept. Yeah. Okay, so and there is one more here. We have two types actually. We have Glacier instant retrieval and flexible retrieval and deep archive. So the difference between Glacier instant retrieval and flexible retrieval is that, let's say you have a data that has been a file or folder that has been more than 90 days inside your bucket. It hasn't been accessed since 90 days. So you can just transfer it to Glacier. This is where you store the data that's infrequently accessed for a long time. Not accessed for a long time. You move it to Glacier, which is cheaper. So you can just choose. But the problem with Glacier is like if you store it and to transfer it to Glacier, it's going to take a long time to retrieve it. Okay, but we have an option here, instant retrieval. Okay, flexible retrieval. Okay, so it might take an hour or something. Deep archive, it might take hours. So basically that's the idea. It's just the amount of time. The difference between those three is just how long it will take to retrieve it, the data. Okay, that's the idea of this one. Okay, basically this is how you create the rules of lifecycle rules. This is what we mean when we talk about lifecycle rules. But for better understanding, we can just type here AWS lifecycle rules pricing, so we can see what's the difference exactly. Let me go here. S3 pricing. Where is it? Yeah, basically this is it. Okay, this is the pricing. So for S3 standard, okay, this is used for frequently accessed data. This is what we use, right? The normal. So this is how much it will cost. So 0.023 for the first 50 TB, and the higher the storage, it's going to decrease. And S3 intelligent tiering is automatic cost saving for data with unknown or changing access patterns. Okay, so basically it's going to be per GB here. Okay, 3 GB. This is intelligent tiering. Okay, optional. Infrequent access. This is for long-lived but infrequently accessed data, but needs millisecond access. This actually costs less. You see this one, 0.0125 per GB. See the difference between this one and the standard? 0.023, and this is 0.01 basically 25. And we have instant Glacier, which is even cheaper. Glacier here is even costs less, more. Yeah, we have here 3.6 flexible retrieval, deep archive here. So this is the differences. The cost will be less. That's the idea of lifecycle rules. And one more thing that we need to know, actually, since we already understand lifecycle rules, and there is one more thing: replication rules. Okay, replication rules. Let's say you want to replicate your bucket to another region. Okay, that's why we use cross region replication. It's use case for disaster recovery and compliance. Okay, so it has a requirement: versioning has to be on, basically. Let me just do it. Okay, here we have replication rule. Let me type any rule here: enabled, and all apply to all objects here. Specify bucket in another account. You can do it in another account or in the same account. It's up to you. Choose a bucket in this account. I'm just going to go ahead and choose, let's say, this one. Okay, this is actually not in this account, anyways. In this region, this is this bucket IAM3. Okay, choose this one. Okay, remove this one first of all. Browse. I'm going to choose this one. See, it's going to ask me to enable versioning, because without it, it's not going to work. Enable versioning, and then I can choose the role here or create a new role. Okay, and then I'm just going to save it. Yeah, enable bucket versioning. Okay, now save this one. Save it, but apply to all objects. Choose a bucket in this account. This is the destination, basically. Here we are supposed to specify the destination where we need it. You can create a bucket on another region and choose the path. Yeah. Okay, save it here. Yeah. So you can choose no, do not replicate existing object. Yes, replicate existing object. So basically that's the idea of cross region replication. Okay, if you go to another region, the Ohio region for example, you're going to find that data replicated. Okay, so this we already talked about. This automatic cost optimization, this lifecycle plus Glacier. Yeah, we said that initially we start with the S3 standard, and after 30 days we move to standard infrequent access if it's not accessed for 30 days, and if it's not accessed for 90 days, you can just change it to Glacier. Also, you can add a policy like here, for example, in after 1 year you can say delete the data, don't keep it. Okay, it doesn't have to be 1 year, you can make it to 2 years. Okay, and one more thing we need to talk about is actually transfer acceleration. Before this, I want to talk about this one, static website and hosting. So there is an option called static website in S3 bucket. Okay, that allows us to now to put index inside to put HTML file inside and access it. So let's go ahead and try this one, static website. So let me create, I'm not going to create a new bucket, I'm just going to use an existing bucket here. This one, test bucket, for example. Yeah, so let me just delete all this all together here, delete everything. We don't need it, right? We don't need any of it actually. Delete this one. Delete. So close this one. And now let's go ahead and upload let's create a folder here if we need a folder. Let me just upload the file itself. I don't need a folder here. Just upload index.html, which I have here. I think I have, I don't know where I put it. Index dot this one. This is just where is it? Open with this is just edit with notepad. It's just an HTML file. It's just going to show you the page, and it's going to give you this data. That's it, my first page, and this is my first paragraph. That's all it will do. So let me just close this one, go to here and upload this one here. Okay, and upload this one. Okay, so now let me go to the file. Let me just open this one in a new tab. Access denied. So let me fix this issue with the permissions. Let me go to, I'm using this one, right? IAM3. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and enable this one using the permissions, the bucket policy. Yeah, the bucket policy here. So just go ahead and add a new statement. I'm going to choose S3 here. I'm going to allow S3 to just, what we need is just to get the object. That's all we need, right? Get the object here. I'm going to choose this one, and the resource, let me just copy the bucket ARN here, add resources, and I'm going to choose the object, paste this ARN, and I'm going to put asterisk dash asterisk slash asterisk, and I'm going to save the changes. Yeah, principal, just change this one to asterisk for all, so everyone can access. Now save this change. So let me just refresh this page. Now I was able to access. So this is what I got. This is my first page on a simple HTML page. So basically this is one thing. What I wanted to use is actually we have something called static website in the here, this one, static website hosting. Use this bucket to host website or redirect page. So edit this one. Okay, I'm going to enable static website hosting. I'm going to host static website. Yes, I'm going to choose here index.html. okay, and I'm going to save changes. Okay, so now this is my website basically. Okay, I'm just going to open this one inside. Yeah, so this is basically the idea of static website. Okay, you just created a static website here using there's an option here to create a static website. So that's it for static websites, pretty straightforward. And we talk about CloudFront first. And what's CloudFront? CloudFront is like CDN, you know, CDN, Fast Global Delivery, HTTPS. Okay. So basically, what is CloudFront? I'll draw here. Let me show you here an example. Let's remove this one. Delete this one also. Let's say you have a user here. Okay, this is user. Okay, he is inside. No, let's just put here. Okay. Okay, so user. Okay, user in. Let's say he's in US. USA, or let's say in India. Okay, and we have here we have website is stored in US region. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. So every time the user wants to access the website, he has to go to the US. Okay, which is yeah, he has to go to USA. Okay, he has to go to the USA in order to get the data, get the website, right? But yeah, okay, so the solution for this is we have something called Edge CDN. We have Edge CDNs here, Edge, like here, CDNs. Okay, they're designed to solve this problem so that the user doesn't have to go that far to get the same data. Okay, so the idea is it's going to go to the Edge CDN. Okay, from here it's going to check to go to the yes. Then once the data is retrieved, okay, it's going to go here and it's going to cache the data here. Caches the data. Okay, near the user's region. Okay, so next time the user wants to for example make a new request again to visit the same site, he doesn't have to go to all the way to the US regions in the US. He can get it from the CDN itself, cache CDN itself, the Edge CDN itself. That's the idea of the benefit of CloudFront. Okay, it reduces latency and speed, basically fast global delivery. Okay, it also have DDoS protection and more. Okay, so basically this is how we will set it up. Usually we are going to set up in production S3 bucket. It has to be private, but the CloudFront public access. So yeah, so real world architecture Hive. Okay, so let's just go ahead and try this one. So I'm going to go to CloudFront here. CloudFront. This is CloudFront. CloudFront is this one. To create, we can create distribution here. You can name it, just text anything. We can say single website or application. Choose if each website or application will have a unique configuration. No, just keep it like this. Leave it like this, and we will use Amazon S3. Okay, and S3 origin, choose AWS origin. So the origin of the S3 is actually going to be this one, this static website that we created, right? Copy this one, put it here. Okay, and this is optional. Allow private S3 bucket access to CloudFront. This is recommended because CloudFront will update your S3 bucket policy to allow CloudFront to access your S3 bucket. The policy allows CloudFront to access bucket only when the request is on behalf of the cloud distribution. Okay, keep this as it is. Okay, next, enable security protection. Keep your application secure for most common web threats and security for application. This is good also. This is another benefit of CloudFront. It will give you web application firewall. Okay, this protects against common. And $14 for 10 million requests. Okay, click next. Okay, because you granted CloudFront access to your origin, CloudFront can write and update S3 bucket policies that restrict access to S3 origin to CloudFront. Fine. Okay, create redistribution. See what happens. Parameter origin domain name does not refer to a valid S3 bucket. Okay, so let me go to the name here. Yeah, I'm not actually trying to do this in practice, but I want to just see what configured in a website. Let's see what happens here. Distribution. The path. Okay, I think we're supposed to, the directory path within the origin where your content is stored, I think we're supposed to put this one here. I believe so. Let's try this one. Create redistribution. So we just created the redistribution here, but I'm not sure if we're going to get charged or no. Okay, so right now, pay as you go. Basically, I'm going to close it, but first I want to see. Copy this one, paste it here. المتابعة. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but basically that's it. Okay, the console displays everyone, object owner, your AWS account, everyone here, and let's go ahead and close this. Okay, so let me just see my policies here. I have a bucket policy. Here, it was added here, I think. Yeah. So what I want to do is actually go to CloudFront now. CloudFront, front. Go to CloudFront here, and we have pay as you go set up here, and let's alternative domain, no need. This is the plus. We're still getting access denied actually. We're still getting access denied. Let me check the distribution here. Security, actually from security here. Advanced DDoS managed, geographic restriction. Yeah, so Yeah, actually that's it. There is okay, 1 second, let me check here. Yeah, that's all we need to do. Actually, we just need to know how to set it up. And 1 second, let's just continue now. Let's move on to the next topic. Let me just remove this one, because actually we need to go ahead and remove this one, because it's going to charge us if we don't. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this. Disable for now. We'll just disable it for now. We can enable it later on. Okay, and we'll talk more about that. That's the idea of this one. And few things we need to know about this is actually course origin. Now before that, I think we should learn transfer acceleration. Basically, use AWS edge locations for faster uploads globally, used if users far from S3 region, basically. Okay, let's say our region is for example, our region is our AWS is North Virginia, right, in US. So let's say people from India. Okay, so when they want to upload, we want them to be able to, we want to improve the user experience for the people in Asia or something. When they try to upload any files. So I can use something called transfer acceleration. So transfer acceleration is basically when you go to buckets here, go to my static here, so we have here just type, okay, we have here transfer acceleration. Transfer acceleration, this is the one. Okay, we can click edit, enable. Okay, so basically you click enable here, for example, but use accelerated engine for faster data transfer. It will incur additional fee, keep in mind that one. And that's all we need to do actually. Faster save these changes. Successfully edited. Basically that's the benefit of transfer acceleration, but I think we should disable it because currently we are using free version and we need to disable what we don't need, basically. And course, which is cross origin resource sharing, this is needed when for example, let's say you want to access let's say you have a React, it's a framework of JavaScript and for front end, and you want to call S3. Okay, it's not going to work for you. It's going to give you an error, course error. Okay, whenever you try to get whenever you try to get from S3, basically, unless you set this up on the S3 bucket. Okay, because it's not allowed to, because they're on a different domain, right? So you can go to permissions here. Okay, this is actually very simple. Cross origin resource sharing here. You can edit this one and you can just paste this one. I'm just saying allow anyone, okay, using the method get, which is used to fetch data, to allow all origin. That's it. That's all it takes. So we can access it using this. That's the idea of cross origin resource. And just follow this one. Block public access. security best practice, use IAM role and enable this one. Use CloudFront and transfer acceleration for performance. For cost optimization, add the lifecycle policies. Use intelligent tiering. Intelligent tiering has a feature actually to automatically check where to send it, like decide to send it, whether to send it to IA or Glacier or reliability. Enable versioning. Use Crosshair for disaster recovery. So try to memorize these points, and that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Yeah, so we're just going to focus on the theory because it's not going to be part of the lab session. The lab part is not going to be in the exam. Also, it's not very hard to implement it on the free tier. Account. So let's go ahead and start with the different types of storage gateways. So the first type is file gateway, which is the most common. So basically it converts the files to S3 objects, acts like the file server in your local network. It uses protocols like NFS and SMB. NFS for Linux, SMB for Windows. So basically how it works is user saves a file in a specific folder, for example file.txt. The file is stored locally, okay, in the cache, and the gateway uploads it to S3 bucket as an object. That's the job of the gateway. It's just going to take the file and upload it to the S3 object, S3 bucket. Yeah. So basically the user, using the protocol NFS and SMB, the user just stores a file in the file gateway on the folder, the shared folder, and the file gateway just takes this file and puts it in the S3 bucket. That's the idea. The main concept of storage gateway is just that it connects on-premises environment with AWS cloud storage, mainly S3 and Glacier. So that's the main thing that we need to understand. It connects an on-premise environment with AWS cloud storage. Okay, and key features, we have local cache for the file gateway, and object is stored in S3. And the use case, it provides shared file storage across teams, backup file shares to cloud, lift and shift file servers. So basically this is what the file gateway is. The other type of gateway is volume gateway. This is a cached mode. It's also called cache mode. So what it does is stores only frequently accessed data locally. Not all the data, just the frequently accessed ones. And the full data lives in the S3. So basically how it works, the application writes data to the local cache, and data is synchronously uploaded to S3. Frequently accessed data stays cached. Okay, so if we want to access this data, we don't have to go through to S3 again. We can just get it from the cache. That's the idea. And the key features, we can use also iSCSI. The key features here are it's small, local disk is needed, okay, large cloud storage like S3, and good for limited on-premise storage. Basically the use case, it's used to backup systems, big data sets with limited local disk, disaster recovery, low local storage but needs large. So the third type, we have volume gateway, but this is the stored mode. The one we talked about before was volume gateway cached mode. Okay, stored mode does the opposite of the cached mode. It stores everything in the locally, basically. And asynchronously backs up to S3. Okay, so application writes data to local disk, and gateway creates snapshot to S3, basically. So key features: you need full local storage for this. Okay, since everything's stored in your storage, it provides low latency. It backs up to S3 and snapshot in AWS. The use case: you need fast local access. If you need fast local access, this is good. If you want cloud backup, database are critical applications. We can use this one, volume gateway. Stored mode. Okay, and we have one more. That's tape gateway. So what it does is basically replaces the physical tape backup systems and integrates with backup software like Veeam backup and Replication or Commvaults. How it works: it backs up software, writes to virtual tapes stored in S3 active tape. Yeah, so we have storage class, we have S3 to active tapes, Glacier to archive tapes. So instead of using the physical tape backup system, it's using the virtual tape for this. So yeah, so it just sends this to virtual tape, and then from virtual tape to S3. It replaces the physical tape library, long-term archival, compile compliance, disaster recovery. Tape gateway. Okay, this is used if the company uses tape backups and they want cloud, they can use tape gateway. If they want long-term archival, they can use tape plus Glacier, basically. That's the idea of tape backup, tape gateway. There is one more concept, we call it snowball. Snowball is just that basically it's like, until now what we were doing is just doing the transferring the files, okay, from the PC to the S3 using the S3 bucket, using the gateway, right? The file gateway, for example, the volume gateway, tape gateway. But now is all the things that we've been doing until now is just happens on the OS, the operating system, right? The software itself. But Snowball is actually a physical device shipped by AWS. So basically what we will do is a company will ask AWS to ship the device physically. It's going to take the device from us, copy the data locally, and ship it back. So AWS uploads to S3. Basically, they're going to handle everything. That's Snowball, physical, yeah. This is the case if the internet is too slow or they provide data. If you want to migrate the data, it's used for data center migration. It's used for large backups. It's used for remote location, like no internet. So that's the benefit of Snowball. Like if you have petabytes of data transfer, you can't use a normal file gateway or volume gateway, right? You have to do it physically using Snowball method. And let's say you don't have any internet or you have a slow connection, also you can use Snowball for this. So when you compare all four actually, basically the difference is like in file gateway, we use NFS or SMB, right, to communicate with the gateway to put the file. And for cached or stored volume, we use iSCSI. Same goes for tape gateway. And for local storage, for the file gateway, we use cache. And yeah, and this is basically the difference. So this is tricks to remember. Like a company uses Windows file server and wants cloud storage, use file gateway. The company is limited. She wants a limited on-premises storage, large data set, use cached volume. A company, let's say, database needs fast local storage plus backup, use stored volume. And let's say company is using old tape backup system modernization. Okay, you can use tape gateway. And let's say you want to move 500 terabytes of data to AWS, use Snowball. So we just need to understand the differences here, and I think that's enough. Yeah, that's all about this video. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next session.